guys, welcome back to the Shipmate YouTube channel. This week we're talking to Phillip of Arca Packaging, and he's going to tell us how we can create a better customer experience through packaging. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Phil. I really appreciate you and Arca taking the time to come talk about boxes and, tell us a little more about how, packaging can really, take that customer experience, elevate it to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, Bill, thanks for having me. Thanks to the Shipmate team for having us. It was a pleasure working with you guys thus far. We made a box for you, actually, for those who are listening. Y'all can maybe even partially answer that question, right? Because you're doing it yourselves. But when it really comes down to it, having a good customer experience doesn't even necessarily mean you have to have the fanciest boxes on the planet. Just being able to show your customers that you've put forth some sort of effort is really what it comes down to, versus, it needs to have all sorts of wild bells and whistles. It needs to open up and, shoot a laser into the sky. It doesn't need to do that. It's just, what is your company about and how are you able to express your brand through your packaging is really what, Arca is all about. And to be completely honest, if you're just starting out, you don't even necessarily have to do custom branded packaging. We don't want people to just run for being able to, throw in as many colors and logos as possible from the get-go, as much as it is important to just have that, again, tying back to the good customer experience. And what that can mean is just, hey, first things first, put your product in a box that fits your product. Don't send me a toothbrush in a box that could fit a laptop, for starters. And a lot of companies are guilty of this, right? Like, we've all received something from, Amazon, for example, and it might not have come from Amazon HQ. It could have come from a vendor seller through Seller Central, and they were selling that product online. So if there are some sellers listening right now that, let's say, sell on Amazon, make sure that your product is optimized for a package that's good for e-commerce. This is less so an issue now as more businesses are moving towards e-commerce, but what we've seen a lot in the past is companies are split between retail and e-com, and they'll take their retail product package and just throw it in an Amazon box and send it out the door. And, that's not going to be a great customer experience to have that like plastic hang tag product that arrives in the mail and you need a knife to open it or your teeth to tear it open. Like, they call that frustration-free packaging, when it's a box like some of our customers that we have here, which we'll do in a minute at the end of this discussion, that it's easy to open. It's frustration-free. That gives a good customer experience. You get that handled, then we can talk colors, bells, whistles, all that fun stuff. But when you're first starting out, like, design aside, please don't make me feel guilty by having a lot of trash when I open up the product and then get rid of the package. Like, let's start there.
So Phil, could you give us a little bit of a brief introduction, a summary to you and Arca?
Sure. Let's start with a summary of Arca. More importantly, so we're a platform for businesses to design and order packaging online. We connect to your WMS. We can ship directly to your fulfillment center or your warehouse or your living room, if those are all the same thing, depending on where you are in the product lifecycle journey of your business. And very simple self-serve website where you can select a package, brand it with your logo, and check out. We're based in the U.S. I can keep going. We're based in the U.S. We ship internationally. Everything is made here in the U.S. We're FSC certified, which is the Forestry Service certification. So all the packaging you're going to be getting is eco-friendly as a bonus for those of you that care about sustainability and eco-friendly methods.
Yeah, no, I mean, your website's super easy to use. It's super easy to design a box with you guys. And talking from personal experience, it's an overall great experience to work with Arca.
Right on.
It's definitely something to check out if you guys are looking into, custom packaging and things like that.
Appreciate it.
So what I really wanted to get down to and drill into is, we kind of talked about it a little bit here in the beginning, but, why packaging is just so important and why it's, it's a lot more than just a container that holds something and gets it to that end customer. And,
sure.
It's a really impactful piece of that experience. And it helps to tell stories. And, when you're in the COVID era, especially, you can't go to a store and experience the product on the shelf. that whole experience between the first click and when that box is opened at your door.
Totally.
Just as important. So, I'd really like to hear, a little bit more from you about, the importance of packaging, and, maybe we can go into some, things that you recommend people do when they're starting out with packaging.
Sure. Yeah, no, Bill, you hit the nail on the head in regards to you can't go to the store. So you kind of have to make up for that, right? Like if you're not going to have that in-store experience, how are you going to help that translate through your website, your packaging, ultimately your product? And it can take you into either directions. Like you could have a great product and it's overshadowed by just awful packaging, and you don't want to leave that bad taste in your customer's mouth, right? Go in that other direction, which is, oh, this is a simple product. I'm not selling Rolex watches, but something nice, and it came in a simple package, and the package, it can be modest. That's totally fine. It can be very simple. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it doesn't even have to be branded. But if it fits your product nicely, if it protected the product didn't arrive damaged, I don't feel the need to return this product. You just lost out on the lifetime value of that customer due to that return. And they're certainly not going to be an advocate of yours. They're going to be telling other people, at the very least, they're not going to be telling them to buy your product. They might even be telling them not to buy your product, right? So good packaging can leave that impression that you might have gotten at a store that you really like. Like look back to earlier years of going shopping and before this like e-com era really shot off and was seriously amplified by COVID, obviously. But prior to that, I don't know. I grew up, I was actually talking about this with my friends earlier when we were saying, yeah, remember when you used to, like as a teenager, you just like go to the mall and you hang out and you just check out different stores and stuff.
Go to
the mall.
Go
to the movies. Grab some food.
Walk around,
whatever.
Try on some clothes, see how they look in the mirror, show your friends. It was a completely different time, and that was only like 10 years ago.
It was, dude. That's freaking crazy. And actually, good word they use there, try, right? Try. You try things on. E-com has been doing a lot of that as well, right? Like Warby Parker, I think, coined a little bit of that model, or at the very least, they're taking credit for it successfully, where you get to try something on, send it back, and a lot of companies are doing that. Good packaging is required to do that. If you bring it in something, the packaging is absolutely wrecked, how are you going to send it back, try something else? You might just forego the entire experience and be like, you know what, forget this. No, like it came up, the one I liked came out damaged, or maybe you did like them both, they didn't come out damaged, the packaging is damaged and you can't even return anything. Then you have to like talk to support. There's this whole new chore that's been created for someone that was trying to remove the entire necessity of having to go somewhere to get a decent product. And packaging could have been your savior there, but in that situation, it's your downfall. So be careful. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, but I'm saying like you can create a really good experience with packaging. You can also turn off your customers with packaging. So start with something that fits your product well, and then add some color to it, quite literally, right? That's my message to most people that are listening right now.
Yeah. So, I know we want to talk about getting into some do's and some don'ts. I thought a good place to start would just, let's start with some best practices. Like if I'm out there and I'm starting a business and I want to, get a box going, how should I start thinking about that box? And, let's say I'm really brand conscious and I want to, start dabbling a little bit with a little bit of creative process. How do I go about doing this? Like, it seems like a lot to do up front, but, I know it's quite easy with Arca, and, you guys empower people
Thank you.
to, take that step forward and, take that leap to, reclaim some of that brand equity, even in your packaging.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if you're great question, by the way. And thank you for saying it's easy to do with Arca, because it is. But, when you're first starting out, you can just, like I said, unbranded, maybe get some branded tape and throw it on the box to close it. Branded stickers, maybe just like a nice note with your logo inside of the package. You can start there. You don't have to start with, what Leco Cosmetics did, for example, where they have like a fully branded box. Akamai, for example, is just black ink on craft. That's super simple, but it looks slick.
I really like box stamps myself. I've seen a few people use box stamps, and I think that looks great, especially if you got that vintagey vibe going. You know?
Totally. With the craft, that's kind of like what Akamai is going for here, but because they order thousands at a time, they can't just like stamp everyone. Like they'll need like a mini sweatshop to do that. But in regards to how to get started, like just get started is really the best advice I can give. Don't wait for, oh, is this the perfect design? Well, hey, how about starting by listening to your customers? Just get something out there. See what they say. Maybe your customers might tell you, hey, this is janky. What is this? Can you please change this? Like talk to your users and be prepared to get honest feedback, but be approachable in asking for that honest feedback when you're getting started. And if you're further along, pilot different designs and just see like maybe what is there some sort of correlation between reorder rate and the design that you had for a specific demographic. I don't know. Like there's so many ways that you can experiment. But going back to getting started, start small, but start is the important part. Like I can't stress that enough. A lot of people will kind of sometimes they'll approach us and they'll have this, pie in the sky idea of what they want their packaging to look like, and then they have to scale it down, and then they eventually go. Maybe start with like a minimal viable product, right? Like any good company stresses this concept of an MVP, right? Whether it's a package or a SaaS platform doing billions of dollars eventually, it starts with something minimal. So start with that for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, one of the big things when I hear people just starting to experiment with taking a little bit of personalization is I really like to stress that packaging and inserts go hand in hand.
Sure.
Like so many people that, they might not have the ability to go out and order custom boxes because they might only be doing a couple orders a week. But they do have the ability to, get a printer, print out a nice letter, ask for some feedback. And, this is a really great way to just, take that first step in the personalization.
Yeah.
And, like you said, start small, start with just getting the right size box, start with ease of use and, build your way out from there because, you want to, first of all, capture a customer and get repeat business because that's how you make money as a company.
Sure.
And, I really like the point about the MVP. I think that's a really good starting place, especially.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you kind of brushed up on some of the things not to do, but, could we go over some packaging fails, some do nots, things you see all the time that you're just like, that's a big no-no and could have been avoided and helped somebody out when they were just getting started or, before they spend a ton of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know why I see this so often. Maybe it's just the concept of a foam insert that comes off as, oh, this is clearly what I have to do. But there's two types of inserts. There's the inserts, which is the card that you have a letter or a promo code or whatever, that's like a physical piece that goes into the box. And then the other type of insert, which is the tray that your product lays inside, like a cavity for the product to sit in to protect the product, that type of insert. Dude, people spend thousands of dollars on foam inserts, and you could just do it with cardboard. I don't know if people just think, oh, it must be more protective. Just absolute fake news. I'm just going to debunk that right now. Like you don't need foam, which costs thousands of dollars. You have to purchase a mold for foam. Obviously not eco-friendly, and you can't print on it. Whereas you can do cutesy little things with corrugated cardboard, that is, inserts where, you have your product in that cavity, you remove the product, and there's printing on the insert where your product was, and it says like, thank you for buying this or whatever, like anything. It could just be some sort of messaging similar to the other insert idea that you were talking about earlier, where it continues to engage with the customer. So it's super cheap. It's not an expensive product. It's not an expensive material. It's the same material as the box itself, and it's just as printable, just as recyclable, and just as recycled in terms of post-consumer material content in the actual product itself. So you can go for a cardboard insert instead of a foam insert. That's probably the biggest one in terms of like monetary value of what people do. And that one I just want to evangelize heavily and spread the word on that you could be doing the same with cardboard instead of foam, which is just, I don't know if it comes off as like a luxury feel or something, and it has some sort of brand.
From the electronics industry, like Like I see this a lot where
Sure.
like you used to get a laptop and it had those foam corners on it, or you'd get a TV and it would have like some foam padding around it. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of where this has come from is, people are always talking about Apple, emulating Apple's like
Yeah.
packaging design, because Apple's one of the biggest companies in the world, and a lot of people try to emulate, what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Works. Yeah. And I think those days where, you remember when the iPhone used to come in case that it wasn't like foam, but it was like a rubbery foam.
Sure.
To, revisit that feel and that
Yeah.
added
And
comfort of the plushness of foam.
Totally. And you can get that. I mean, you can get that as long as the corrugated tray is well sized to your product. So I want to encourage, listeners and viewers out there that give that a shot. I mean, you can, shameless company plug. You can get as few as 10 with Arca. So, I mean, just start there. Like, just try it out. Send it to 10 of your favorite customers. See what they say. They might say, forget about it. This should have been foam, or they might be, super appreciative of that.
Yeah, I mean, cardboard works just fine. I mean, I've received wine bottles sent to me as gifts in cardboard boxes with cardboard trays. We've been sending wine glasses through the mail for a couple of companies, and those wine glasses go into a cardboard tray. So, I mean, it works. It's functional. If you go to IKEA and you go and buy drinkware, it's in a cardboard box. It's not.
There you go.
Oh, so I mean, there's a lot of big companies doing this, and I think you're right. I think it's a really big place for savings because a lot of people, don't realize that there's costs associated with molds, and same thing with certain die cuts. When somebody's trying to build some crazy.
You did your research. That's a high level word in the packaging world. I like that. Die cut. That's very true.
Oh no, we own a bunch of die cuts because all our bins that we use here at Shipmate are custom size, custom built, custom cut to fit the specific shelves we have within the building. So that's a big thing for me is just trying to find ways to save people a couple cents, a couple pennies, because that really gives you the ability and the flexibility to try new things, and build trust with the customer. So
totally.
I really like to hear about some of the packaging styles that you guys are producing, and some of the other add-on specialty kind of stuff you guys are doing, like the trays. You guys do any other fancy things that you really think are moving to the forefront of the packaging? Sure.
Funny enough, something that we're actually rolling out soon, because you mentioned all of it, and let's just go like in list form. So basic boxes, right? You have a mailer box, which is the type that opens in the front. That's the most popular box for direct-to-consumer that we've seen. And then you have the shipper box, which is the same box that Amazon sends you, where it opens with the two flaps, on top. Those are the most common. Typically, the Amazon style box is reserved for heavier items. But whether it's beauty, apparel, like soup to nuts, the mailer box will take care of you. It's like 80% of our orders. And then you can also do poly mailers, poly or bubble mailers. You can print on both of those. That's a good route to go if it's, let's say, apparel, but you can't really ship a beauty product in a poly or bubble mailer. It's just more likely to cause breakage. But then with that, you can do a lot. You can do branded tape to close it. You can do branded stickers to close it. You could do tissue paper, branded or unbranded. The trays, which I can't stress enough. And later on in the video, will you be able to have maybe the Shipmate tray? I think you all had a tray as well, potentially. You didn't have a tray? Okay, cool. But that's one of the other items that we could be doing is those corrugated trays that I said save tons of money for you. And then you can get fairly sophisticated in the print itself, where something that we're rolling out with Smile, Smile.io, which is a loyalty platform. Shout out to Smile. There's a QR code on there where you can just scan the QR code and get loyalty points as a customer of the merchants that are purchasing the package. One of the things they could do through Arca is actually they scan the code and it'll link to a website that shows the closest recycling center for the boxes. Like if you're the type of person that cares about that, that's available to you. And that's something that your company can show, your customers that it's something that you care about, that sustainability and eco-friendliness is in your ethos. If that's something that you want the QR code to show, other things that the QR code can show is it'll automatically go to a video of like how to unbox the product or what to do with the product. If you have like, let's say like a makeup or type of beauty product that has very specific instructions, that QR code you can print on the inside, they take a photo, it'll immediately go to the viewing of what to do step by step. Like that's simple. That doesn't cost extra money. Like it's not like a QR code is more expensive to print than a logo, but it's just something that not many merchants that work with us think to do. And that's something that we're trying to push now that it's incorporated with loyalty programs. So something to consider. I think that's pretty cool. Like I don't know, like QR codes have been around for like, I don't know, like 15, 20 years or something. But I think now in the age of paperless menus, when you go to a restaurant because of COVID, like QR codes, people are becoming more familiarized with that. And you can incorporate that into your product packaging so that you can send your customers to your social media, some sort of promo, get a discount, where to recycle, or instructions on your product. Like the opportunities for that are obviously limitless and super simple to use, and another fun way to engage with your customers. So that's a newer one of a technology that's been around that hasn't been taken advantage of yet, and that's something that we're seeing pick up some speed.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially with that QR code thing, I used to sell water bottles on Amazon. And one of the biggest competitors to us was actually selling water bottles that came with an app, right? So if you have one of those product app combinations.
Oh, yeah, great call.
QR codes are like the key. I mean, it's like right there on the packaging. You pull the phone out, boop, you download the app. It makes things so much easier. And you can walk them through 2-3 steps on the box that lead to a QR code and make that overall, the experience of downloading that app and using it with that product so much simpler. I mean, the other day I tried to give my grandfather a Fire TV, couldn't figure out how to use it. Wanted to throw it out. And it's like just simply having, an easy place to scan the instructions, bring them right up on the box or something like that could really, help circumvent some of this, some of the challenges with using products, as well as if you need to download an app or, something to go with the product, QR codes are the future and, something that's, I see having a lot of value, especially moving forward. As you said, people are getting more familiar with them. They're getting used to using them, and it's, becoming part of our everyday structures.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I was hoping now is we could do the unboxing.
Let's do it.
Boxes along to, show off some of the stuff that you and Arca make. And, I took a brief look at the boxes before we started the call, and they look really pretty. So we're all excited for that. After that, I want to show everybody the box you helped make for Shipmate. I mean, it's a great box, and everybody we sent it to, we got rave reviews for. So I'm real excited.
Sick. Nice. Okay. Yes, you want to just jump right into it? Start with Arca. This is a cool product. They have different products for dental hygiene, which is pretty cool. Something I actually want to mention, just best practices, logo on top, a little description of how to pronounce Arca, right? A little bit of a tagline here on the sides. So they're really taking advantage of the real estate here. Another thing, I almost bet you that they had a discussion with their fulfillment center to make sure that the label, as you can see, they have a little bit of those markers on the back to make sure that the label isn't put on top. Because some fulfillment centers, no matter what, they'll just do box by box, label on top, label on top. That would cover the logo. And then what is this? This is just some writing on the sides, I guess. And here's the website, but the logo, like the face, as you like, if you will, is front and center, but wiped out by a print label. So they discussed with their fulfillment center. I almost guarantee it. So now we're going to open this up. This is a mailer box. So this opens up from the front, smooth opening. And already from here, you can see there's some print on the inside, instructions and inserts, as you were mentioning. I think that instead of these instructions, which they have here, talks about a routine system for oral care, right? They're talking about like a tongue cleaner, brushing your teeth, floss, an oil pull, like mouthwash. All of this could have been one QR code that you did with your phone, and it just pops right up. Less waste, less expensive, by the way, as well, to not have to print this. Less fulfillment steps. I'm pretty sure every step in the fulfillment process counts. It's not just time. It's 1, 2, 3, and then product 4 steps that go into this. So in that regard, we were on the topic of QR codes. This would have been something helpful. But I really like the insert. It looks like that they might have even spritzed some sort of scent on the tissue paper, which smells really nice. It's got this like oaky, like foresty smell, which is nice because this does have that type of vibe too, right? It's like craft, oak, very like, it's kind of like a masculine box in a way, which is kind of cool. And then they have the products inside, all neatly placed down. They had the tissue paper, but again, this would have been a good opportunity for a tray because no tissue paper, everything's rattling around, right? So this was required. Whereas if they had the trays, and you can swap out the different trays, because I know some viewers might be asking, well, I ordered 3 items. What if I ordered only 1? Well, in that case, you can just swap out different trays. And this is something that we do for a lot of our customers, where they'll have multiple SKUs, kind of like Akamai does. And depending on what SKUs get ordered, they will have a combo of the trays. So a tray to hold 3, a tray to hold 5, a tray to hold 1, 2, or 4, or however many. And then they had nice printing on the inside with a message, if y'all can read that. I think it comes out backwards on the camera, but it says less cost, complexity, and chemicals, more health for you and our planet. So clearly taking an eco-friendly approach. Another thing I would recommend on this is, it's a certified B Corporation, 1% for the planet. I don't see the FSC label on there. That's something we'll have to discuss with them. But showing the FSC Forestry Service certification is another way that you can show that you care about more health for you and our planet. But that's my high-level summary. All in all, looks good. They use very good usage of the real estate. Inserts would have been better to hold the product in place along with FSC certification, but really liked how they discussed with our fulfillment center not to have this in like an inconvenient area. It's on the bottom, and therefore nobody cares that it's on the bottom, and it's not taking away from the rest of the box. Whereas with Leco, as you can see, it's almost like a half printed on the front flap and the back. I can see why they did this. They did this because it's actually sealing the box. So, a few points for effort there. But I think it still takes away from the customer experience in the sense that it's just like it's, first of all, I have to use a knife to remove this, which is not fun. You should not have to do that. And second, the fact that it's, covering the front label instead of just being on the bottom, like Akamai was, would have been preferable. But really nice design. It's got it almost looks like a bronze gloss, even though it's not a foil stamped print. And then this front face right here has like a marble feel to it, marble look, at least in the sense that this looks like a stone chest, like a treasure chest that you'd be opening up. And again, I will open this in front of y'all to see what you see. No inside print. So, Akamai had something a little bit better in the sense that there was immediately a message to engage with the customer. That's something that these guys should be taking advantage of. They opted for both tissue paper and raffia, which I actually think is a bit much to have both. Yes, it does give a bit of a luxury feel in theory, but in practice, I'm essentially, sifting through stuff I'm going to throw away, which is not fun. But I love that they did a really nice insert. It's on brand. It looks like that there's a 20% code here. I can share it with someone. High performance skincare, vegan, cruelty free, Leco aesthetics. And I know here that we bought a nice, or actually it looks like something that they did that I actually should have mentioned. They gave us like a little something extra so that it can turn us on to other products. This is something great that I encourage. Akamai did not do this. I got what I paid for. Thank you very much. But with Leco Aesthetics, I got something extra, which might turn me on to a different product. So if I'm into the routine that I get with the illuminating antioxidant serum, then I could maybe check this out and say, oh, I like this radiance oil as well, and I'll be able to buy both. The next thing you know, I'm gonna have another one of these pretty soon. So that part I like. But they did do, sorry, like as FX is listening to this, it's a little overkill with the packing. Like they have the tissue paper, they have the raffia, and just now I'm seeing as well, there's actually there's bubble tape on the bottom. An insert could have totally taken care of this. And my hunch is that the cost of tissue paper, raffia, bubble wrap, and the fulfillment costs for that are being significantly outweighed by just having a simple tray. So if you had the tray, things would have been a lot cheaper. And the cool thing about these guys is that they have multiple products that come in this style box, which is a carton box. It has a soft touch and raised. Wow, they put in a lot of effort into this. So this is a really nice box that came inside. It's a soft touch paper material, and this Leco right here is raised lettering. They paid like top dollar for this box, which, remember earlier when we were talking about how this can overshadow a great product? Like that's what's happening right now. Like this is so clean and so choice, and it's coming in like a ton of extra stuff that they totally didn't have to do. Like it's overshadowing this. And if this was just like a plain box, even if this was just a plain box and I pulled out this absolute freaking gem, I would be more satisfied than all the bells and whistles that they, unnecessarily put into this, which is a shame, but I will have a talk with them. And something for those that are listening to not, fall into that trap of thinking you need to just do more and more and more. Less is more, guys. Like for those who are listening, I prefer what Akamai did here because it was very engaging with the customer. There was a little bit of tissue paper. They could have done a tray. If they did this with a tray, this would be a 10 out of 10. Like this is a perfect box. Like this is a perfect box with the tray. This is nicer than anything Akamai did. This is the Leco Aesthetics serum, but all of this is overshadowing this. But that's my summary. Both great products. You should check them out. Akamai, AKAMAI. Double checking the URL that it is actually akmaibasics.com. Just get a shot of that right there. And then for Leco Aesthetics, I hope they put the URL on here. They did, yes, Leco Aesthetics. It's pretty small. They could have made that bigger. So another piece of feedback. But some nice things that they did here was tell us that the portion of the purchase will be given to FFWNY, which supports individuals with autism and developmental disabilities, which is actually very nice. Made in the USA, very true, because that's what Arca does. We make it all in the USA. Vegan, not tested on animals, and recyclable. That's cool. That's super dope. They both did a great job with the real estate of the packaging. But if this isn't a competition, I don't think we said we're going to be judging who wins here. But if I was to pick someone, it would be Akamai in this situation, just because of how they really took advantage of the package and did minimal usage. But lastly, the nicest thing that's been in this entire thing is this serum. And this was an expensive product, by the way, but it came in an expensive box. Like the product is matching the packaging here, and I really freaking like that. So this is the nicest thing out of everything here. And Leco, great job with that. But hats off to both companies for creating a good unboxing experience.
Yeah, I just want to take a second and give some people a little bit of an extra gem that's, not fully related to packaging, but Leco did it right here, and I love it. When somebody gives a free product, even
totally.
sample along with something else or a free gift, what that says is come shop at my store, right? Come
totally.
give store money. Make sure the money goes to the person doing the work, doing the effort, and don't go shop on Amazon or Walmart or one of these big box retailers, because you're going to get a better experience. Both for the brand, because the brand gets to sell direct to the customer and they don't have to pay all those extra fees. And the customer gets a better experience because the customer is getting that awesome, that awesome box, right? That awesome Arca box, really nice design. But they're also getting a little something extra,
Totally.
They know order directly from Leco, they'll probably get a new product to try, and maybe they discover something new they like. But if you order from Amazon, you're going to get that box with a smile on it. It's going to be brown, and you're going to get exactly what you paid for. And that's not always bad, because there's convenience. No. And, Amazon adds a lot of value to our society. But at the same time, it's probably not the same experience and care you're going to get if you buy from a brand that's conscious enough to go make these kind of decisions,
Right.
when packaging and giving all these extra bonuses. So this is just a little shout out. If you're a person, you're a consumer, try to buy from your brands. And if you're a brand, try to do something a little extra than what you're doing with the big box experience to make it worthwhile for people to take that extra step and come to you.
Yeah, this is a missed opportunity, I think, on Akamai's part, because similar to Leco Aesthetics, these are both regimens, right? So I got my toothpaste, I got my toothbrush, I got my floss. It would have been nice if they gave me a tiny little bottle of that mouthwash, maybe even like a single use, so I can say I'm going to complete. I could have been a ongoing user of everything if I'd got that something extra. And remember what we were talking about earlier in regards to hanging out the mall and like trying different things. When you simply get what you pay for, you're not trying other things and you're not getting that in-store experience. Leco successfully gave that in-store experience by letting you try a little something else. So I'm really glad that you're highlighting that, because this makes all the difference. Like I see that this company cares, and that matters, and that makes me care. That makes me care. That makes me want to use them again.
Cool. So now we're going to show you the Shipmate box that you guys helped us out with. Like I said, huge success. A lot of people were really ranting and raving about this.
Nice colored box. Very nice color.
Arca was the only person. We tried 3 different companies that could get the color right on this box, which is surprising. But here at Shipmate, we like to say happy people fulfilling happy products with happy packaging. So we made the happy box, come true. And Arca did even this nice little seal for us on the bottom that I really like.
Cool.
But we didn't just stop with the box, right? Because, that would be cutting it short. So in the inside, we went and we sourced from some other people around inserts, right? And we fill these out personal with a message on the back for every one of our customers, a special message just for them about their business. Try to stay real personal with that touch. We try to include some inserts, some business cards with all our social media, how to contact us, where to find our content,
Great.
Really to share with people. Everybody likes freebies, stickers. So we, go out, we take that extra effort, we make some branded stickers, some die cut stickers, sprinkle them all in there. We also got pens, because who doesn't like pens, right?
Always need more pens.
There.
Always need more pens.
And then what we also did, which I want to show you guys, is, we use cellophane to keep the whole package together. And on top of keeping the whole package together, we have things like mugs that were breakable. Made sure we wrapped those very well so they shipped right. Lots of good packaging, and we included a hat for some of our customers. And it was real successful. I mean, just taking that little bit of an extra step to make sure we got the right box with the logo, with the colors, and then taking the time to write those personalized notes and things like that. The feedback you get on a box like this is amazing. It's astounding, and people just love getting something on their doorstep that they're excited to open. They're like, "What's in here?" I got
That's huge.
Smiling at me. It wants to be open. It demands to be open. It needs my attention.
I love that. Yeah.
That's the Shipmate box that you guys helped us design. I thought it was important to share that.
Yeah, glad to be a part of it. It's cute, right? It's got like a happy little face. It does want to be opened. It's like, hooray, I've arrived. Check out what's inside.
Yeah, I mean, if you get that, you got to open it, right? You're sitting there like, what is in this? I got to find out, and I was really happy with how that turned out. And, we've been playing with them in the office. We set them up and hide them on each other. It's real fun, and it's fantastic. And, you guys made us a bigger one as a sample. And, we put that in a lot of, photos and stuff for the Instagram. It's real fun. But,
cool.
Anyhow, I wanted to give you guys, 15, 20 seconds, give us a sales pitch, put your website address up there, how we can find you, where's your social media, and let everybody know how they can engage with Arca further.
Sure. ARKA.com. So arca.com. Check us out. At Arca Packaging is all our social media handles, Twitter, Instagram. You can see us on Facebook, Arca Packaging. Look, if you're just getting started, happy to give you some guidance. But just as importantly, if you're already established, we're happy to do a free audit. If you think something could be done better, if you want to put us to the challenge to see if there's a way for us to save you money, we'll give it a shot. Because it's a cliche phrase, but it's true. Like, your success is our success. The more product you're selling, the more boxes you'll be buying from us. We want you to do well. So hit us up. We're happy to see what we can do to make business better and ultimately a better customer experience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil, for joining us today. I really
Likewise, Bill.
Check out Arca because, like I said, you guys really care. You guys do a fantastic job at everything you do. So
thanks, man.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And, hopefully we can do something again in the future sometime.
I agree. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you could take a second, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help. We just passed 900, and the only way we're going to get there is with you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.